are number 666.
How's it going? This is Iron Serbian with Capital Chaos TV, and we're hanging out here with Tommy Victor of Prong. How's it going, Tommy?
Great, Zoran. Good to see you.
Good to see you again. It's been a while since you played Sacramento, I think. Last time was with Testament,
Exactly.
Is that right?
Yeah. That was a while ago. It was like 6 years ago.
Where does the time go?
I don't know. I really don't. It's like, especially later in life, the years go by very quickly.
No doubt, no doubt. I just turned 50. What about you?
I'm about the same age.
Oh, nice, nice. And I guess we're on borrowed time.
I don't know, man. It's like, I think the whole world is on borrowed time sometimes, but just live day to day, man. So one day at a time. And
One day at a time, easy does it?
easy does it, one day at a time, stay in the moment, all those cliches.
Right on, right on. 30 years of Prong?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, it's been on and off. There's been periods of 6 years here and there of inactivity, so I don't like to celebrate the 30 years. I almost think of Prong as a new band. I mean, we have 4 recent records that are consistently released, and it's like starting over again. I mean, we're just hitting the small clubs, trying to get people interested.
So 4 CDs in 3 years, 12 altogether, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of CDs. There's remix records. There's the first EP, but that's why we entitled the new record Prong 10 or X No Absolutes. It's the 10th full-length studio record of original material. So that excludes Primitive Origins, which is an EP, our first release, and Songs from the Black Hole, which is a covers record. But so I mean, you could say 12, but it's really 10 full-length studio records.
It's a plethora.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of remix records. There's other releases as well.
How do you like your new album?
I think it's great. I mean, I do the record and then I move on. I mean, you know, we play some of the songs live, and now, I mean, you're always under the stress of making another record. So it's a grind. You know, you got to keep being creative. And like, I went up to sound check today, and I just, the first thing that came to my head, I came up with a riff, and then I recorded it on my phone. And so, you know, I get off the road, I'll just have some stuff to look at and see what stuff stands over the period of, you know, a month or so.
So do you write like a machine?
No, I mean, it's like I need the help of others. I mean, one of the bands playing tonight with us is band Dream in Red, and Yuri L, who's the singer and writer of that band. I mean, he worked with me a lot on the new Prong record, and Chris Collier, who co-produced the record with me, he worked extensively on the song. So, you know, we have sort of a songwriting team now.
How do you know Yuri?
From this industrial project I worked on called Primitive Race that didn't get a lot of attention, but Yuri had a pivotal role in that record, and we collaborated on a couple of songs on that. So I was really impressed with his work. So I said, hey, you know, you got any ideas for Prong? And I really liked the direction of Primitive Race, what it was going into, and I felt that would balance out the thrash and, you know, hardcore punk on the Prong record and have like some real solid songs. And Yuri's like an excellent songwriter. So, you know, we teamed up on that for, you know, several songs on the new record on Prong 10 No Absolutes.
Are you familiar with any of Yuri's other projects?
Yes, Blownload. And he's got another, I think it's called East of Eden.
Right.
So
Raising Eden, I think.
Raising Eden. I'm sorry, I apologize. Yeah, that's a new project of his. So, yeah, I'm familiar with his other work. I mean, we've been in contact pretty heavily.
Now, what made you get into music? You were a sound man first, is that right?
No, I mean, I was playing in bands as a kid. Cover bands, just nothing really getting off the ground. Then, like, I joined, like, I got out of Queens and moved into Manhattan at a young age, and started bumming around the Lower East Side, and I was playing in a couple of bands that, you know, were doing a lot of gigs, and then I sort of got disenchanted with it. By the time of, like, you know, really young, I figured I wanted to stay in the music business, so, you know, I took some courses for music engineering, for audio engineering, and then due to my connections at CBGB from hanging out and being on the scene, I got a job there, and I started working sound at CBGB. And Mike Kirkland, who was working there as well, said, let's start a band. And I said, sure. And, we got the itch real fast, and we started working really hard and playing a lot of shows and getting a lot of attention in New York and throughout the world, actually, through fanzines, through media like that we had back then, which was a lot of fanzines, tape trading, etc. And then, eventually got a major label deal, and, it was just, then all the craziness started happening.
Were you much of a reader of fanzines?
Yes, no, I had a lot to do with that, the early publicity of the band. Working at CB's, rehearsing, partying, and then I would go back to my apartment and just stuff envelopes with demo tapes and find out it was easy to find out with the fanzines. Like Maximum Rock and Roll would have a section in the back that would list all the fanzines, so you would just send them out, and we got a really good response to it. And I actually got the first demos and CD and the first record to people like Henry Rollins and Pusshead and numerous people that were starting to help the band out. Like Vernon Reed was a big fan, like from Living Colour, and just a lot. It was a different era back then. It was much more hands-on. People would hang out, see each other at clubs, and work with the fanzines, and you do everything through mail. I mean, there was no internet, there was no fax machines, there was nothing. We didn't have cell phones. We very rarely used the telephone. It was basically all through the mail.
Do you recall first getting reviewed in a magazine like Maximum Rock and Roll or Flipside or anything like that?
Yeah, Thrasher picked up on it really fast. I don't remember the first review. There was a Monty Connor, who's been a famous A&R guy at he had a fanzine. I can't remember the name of it, but it was like we got some reviews from the metal magazines and the hardcore punk magazines and the alternative like noise music ones. I mean, and art rock ones. I mean, that was the great thing about Prong in the early days, that we would span these different audiences. And as metal started getting more disenfranchised, I think we sort of lost out on that. People are more stuck with whatever genre they want to join, and so I think Prong has suffered because of that. Because back in the day, I mean, people would listen to White Zombie, then they go to like an Agnostic Front show, and then
Cool J, the Beastie Boys, or
yeah, I mean, it was all like one big heaping mass of alternative music. And we see Soundgarden, and it wasn't like, oh, I'm not hanging out with these people. Everything's changed. I mean, the Facebook and before that MySpace generation sort of ruined everything, I think.
And you were on Epic for 6 productive years, right?
Right.
Was it? It was during the '90s. So were you a witness to a lot of excess, hookers, cocaine, and all that stuff, or?
Not really. I mean, I didn't really experience that much, especially on the road, because being the singer, guitar player, I had to try to keep my act together. Eventually, I got drawn into those things later on, like playing with Danzig. So Prong was always sort of like we were a drinking outfit, and I had my ear of fooling around, but. It was just chaos back then. I mean, we were under a lot of pressure from the label to sell a lot of records, and finding the producer to do so, and we had a nominal success with Snap Your Finger, Snap Your Neck, that got radio play, etc. But we couldn't. Then grunge came around and sort of pulled everything away from what we were trying to do, and really hurt us a lot.
Sure.